Abarera Legos Ram Ori Banish C10 Demonio Dinaja 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 Abarera Nikos 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 Ram Ori Banish C10 Demonio Dinaja Abarera
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Apocrypha, Voices of the Hidden, the occult podcast, the best occult podcast on YouTube. If not, I think the only occult podcast on YouTube. I mean that's a big one. I'm not sure if there's any other occult podcasts. There might be, but I don't think so. So welcome everybody. Good to see you. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. So
Why am I so fuzzy?
I don't know. You are fuzzy.
I feel very fuzzy.
Yeah, you're fuzzy and it's not your beard. So just to let everybody know, the giveaway instructions have been up for the last week on in the community section here on the YouTube channel. And I'm announcing this again, and I'm glad that I didn't make it just last 1 week and try to announce the winners today, because apparently nobody was really paying full attention to this. So the rules and instructions of what you need to do is in the community section. And one of those things is you have to put in the comment section, in the comment of that post, hail thyself. You have to type hail thyself in that.
Thank you.
In the comment section. You have to be following the YouTube, Instagram, and a member of the Discord. All right. So we will be announcing the winners. It's only one shirt per winner, right? So we'll be announcing the winners on the 20th. So you have another 11 days. Because today's the 9th. Well, technically 10 days, right? to, follow if you're not following in certain places, and to make your comment, type "Hail Thyself" on the post. Okay. So far, we've got one person that did it twice. So,
Yay! You're a winner, baby.
right. So just want to throw that out there for everybody. All right, so everybody is aware of the rules and what's going on with that, right? So it's good to see everybody. I'm glad you're all here. You don't have Discord? That's a tough one. That's a tough one because I don't know. Or Mystic, what do you think? Let's do a business discussion real quick, live in front of everybody. So we set the rules, right?
Maybe
Is it
maybe if the
fair?
rules are already set, we should do a second giveaway that does a different rule.
That sounds better. I like that idea. So yeah, so I would say we'll do a second giveaway after this one with a different set of requirements. Okay, for those that may not have Discord. So yeah, just make sure that and I will subscribed on Discord and YouTube. Yes. You have to be in the Discord. You have to be subscribed to the YouTube channel and following the IG. And also comment on the community post that says "Hail Thyself." You need to type "Hail Thyself," which essentially says that you read the rules. That's my verification that you read the rules. Meaning if you are not someplace else, then it means you didn't read the rules, right? All right, let's see. There we go. There we go. All right. Thank you, Aaron. I'm glad you like how the shirts look.
Ooh, that would be awesome. Florida. Everybody move to Florida now.
So is that going to be then a new requirement for the next giveaways? Everybody needs to move to Florida?
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Damn, that's crazy.
Oh man, but yeah, no, that's awesome. I love stuff like that.
Dude,
I
I'm
love
wondering
Florida.
if it's your internet or my internet that's boggy because you're going robot.
Everything looks crystal clear on my side.
I mean, everything on my side is crystal clear except for you.
Like me in the Discord, I'm not. That's the only place that I don't look right. Maybe I should restart Discord real quick.
All right, go for it. Give it a shot. See what happens. All right, so
After
we're gonna
these messages, we'll be right.
And you get to see two of me. Now this is an interesting development now, isn't it? Oh wait, no, he's coming back. He's coming back. Well, that was fast.
Yeah, it still does not look right.
Yes, you're not looking good on Discord either. For you.
No, but on my side it looks good. My internet seems fine. What is the thing?
They don't have. I'm not running my VPN, so can't be that.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
1 second. I'm gonna check something real quick.
This is giving me good opportunity to eat.
Yep. So we might go really slow and drop down real quick here, guys. Just give me a quick second. Oh, it looks like. 1 second. It is connected. Okay, so it's probably my VPN, guys. Probably my VPN that's bogging everything
down. It could
so
also
guys,
be me.
We might drop connection here just for a quick second, guys, but we'll be back as soon as it reconnects. You still there, Mystic?
Yep.
Chat, we still there? Chat. Yes. Okay. Good.
Ooh, there it goes. I don't know what's going on, dude. I definitely looks. It does seem that I'm having some internet issues.
Yeah, I think it's you. I think it's on your end because you're
Are we
still
now?
robot and fuzzy. This is how you know it's live, guys. This is how you know it's live.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is when shit like this goes down. All right, so it is good to see everybody. I also want to mention that I am digging deep into the Book of Baphomet, the book that I'm writing. A lot of good things coming out of there. Also, another thing, you guys are looking for, any other merch or designs, go to threadsforthedead.com. That is the website that has everything, right? I'll put it in the chat here, threadsforthedead.com. That's the clothing site. If you want to read any of my random writings and spiritual ideas, it's addiusdade.com. So you can go check those out. Make sure you're following Do Pondering Pagans, which is this guy over here stuffing his face. You can only see the Cape Coral hat going up and down, which looks really, really bad on camera. So the base history, Sad World, with Baphomet is that the idea is that the word or term Baphomet was a linguistic misunderstanding from the Knights Templar when I think that they were trying to invade like an Arabic country or something like that. And I'm not sure the exact the geographic, almost a geology, the exact like geographical location. So apparently they're saying Muhammad or Muhammad, and they thought it was Baphomet, and that's kind of how that's kind of how that broke down. So that seems to be kind of like the original source, and then from there it kind of continued to develop. It got to Levi. Levi created the popular image that we all use today for Baphomet. And then, the sigil of Baphomet, which is kind of like a combination of another sigil, like two different sigils put together. It was created by Anton LaVey. That's what we know as the sigil of Baphomet, which has always been used, to represent, Satan and Satanism and things like that. That's the base, super basic, overly simplified version, right, of where that kind of comes from. So whether or not the Knights Templar actually worshipped Baphomet or worked with Baphomet on any level, most sources say no. But as like per the Times, if you were ever accused of, worshiping or working with a demonic entity, then that was pretty much it, right? They didn't really need more proof outside of you being accused of it. They would find a way to prove it and then just kill you. I mean, that's just kind of how that shit worked. Like, all you needed was to be accused. That was it. I mean, and that lasted all the way through to the 1800s. So, as per, the Salem witch trials, right? So all you needed to do was be accused of being a witch, and that was it, homie. You were done. You were done. It's like, we'll drown you. And if you die, you're not a witch, and God will deal with you. And if you live, you are a witch, and we'll kill you anyway. So, you're kind of fucked either way, Yeah, it was always false accusations, Curse. It was always false accusations. There was never any basis to it. It was just fear and hysteria. Fear and hysteria. But like one of the things that I keep kind of saying on the Sunday show, I don't really mention it on here because I don't know how Mystic would actually feel about it. But
what's that?
So the idea of fear, that in the past, people feared us, like feared witches or people of the occult. Not just because, I mean, a good portion of it was misunderstanding and not understanding what it is that we do, but also I fully believe that the fear that people felt towards occultists back during that time period was because they knew that we did actually have the ability to manipulate the world and energies around us. They understood that we actually did have that capability. And that fear was bred from the understanding that we had the ability to do things that other people may not or may not want to partake in or be able to do. And I feel that like we've kind of lost that respect through fear because we've been degraded down to a sideshow of delusional, pseudo-spiritual people by the likes of Hollywood and, things of that nature. I don't know what you think about that idea.
I'm trying to get my internet working. It is messed up.
Okay, so it is you that's messed up. All right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Not me.
It is definitely me.
Okay.
So part of that roboted out, but I'm just saying I have no upload, 0 uploads right now.
Oh, yep. You are lines on a screen. Mystic has gone full Matrix.
I hate this stuff.
And Mark, to answer your question, what are the aspects of Baphomet that inspire me, aside from the concept of balance? Honestly, the idea of balance is the largest aspect, right? I can't move away from balance. I can't exclude that, right? But that balance is so much more. So I like using the aspect of a tree, right, to kind of describe it. So when we look at Baphomet, we see, Salve Coagula, right? And we know the above and below, right? So Salve is like the separation of, the energy, right? Like branches out, it's separate. Then Coagula is unification of it. We kind of look at I think that a lot of us look at above so below not necessarily in the most clearest of ways, right? Because when you look at a tree, it separates above and it separates below the ground, the root system, which depending on how deep that root system goes is how strong that tree is able to stay into the ground once the storm comes. But also the strongest physical part of a tree is the unified aspect of it, the middle part, the trunk, right? And so inside, above and below, as above, so below, we kind of ignore, the Baphometic image in the center of it, right? We think about above and we think about below, but we're ignoring the trunk, the unified aspect in the center. Right? We understand that the separation happens above and below. And the idea that inside of that, we do need light and dark. We do need both of them, right? Because we separate and we expand outward above in order to take in light, like, the tree, right? To take in light and air and things of that nature, aspects that it needs to survive. But the root system also takes in, the water and the minerals and things like that are other aspects that are needed to survive, right? And so we need, the light and the dark, the above and below in order to survive. We need to kind of break away. Baphomet kind of breaks that idea, that initial idea of, what light and dark and up and down and left and right represent, right? We have this hardwired idea of absolute opposites where, left is bad, right is good, up is good, down is bad, light is good, dark is bad. We have this hardwired into us, into everything we think. Good and everything is a concept of good and evil. And I personally, the way that I view things, I don't think it's that simple. It's not that black and white. It's a fucking spectrum. And there's a lot in between that people don't pay attention to. And I think we do need to kind of break away from this, Judeo-Christian concept of what good and evil is. Like we need to break away from that. And, really kind of start refocusing ourselves on what these concepts are. And Baphomet represents, through balance, the idea of that change, that understanding. Because as long as we continue to look at everything so black and white, good and evil, within our concepts and ideas, we're holding ourselves back. Right? We're holding ourselves back. We're removing our true connection to nature and what we are as a part of nature by ignoring those concepts. Good and evil is not a black and white deal. There is a spectrum of reality that exists on that. And because we're so obsessed as human beings, even on a subconscious level, think about how you live day to day. On a subconscious level, we are so stuck on what is good and what is bad and what is right and what is wrong and what those mean to us and how those are defined by the society around us, which is has been overly processed by the Judeo-Christian dogma. Right? That we can't see, we are in a position where we simply cannot see the forest for the trees. Anyway, Mystic, you back? I see you in here.
Kind of.
Okay, your video disappeared.
Yeah, it's coming and going, and our internet is not working. Barely at all.
Barely at all. Did you try restarting the router?
That's what I'm doing now. Okay. By the time I actually get to that, it'll be... Yeah.
All right, well, we'll see what happens then. So I'll keep babbling until you get it fixed so we can do the tarot reading, okay? Because people are going to want to see the cards.
The cards.
The cards.
This is annoying. Everything's been working fine until just now, of course.
Right?
All right. I'm going to mute, though, for a minute. I'll be right back.
Yep, no problem. Yeah, Christian baggage, exactly, like we said last week. Yeah, we can hear him because he's still in the Discord. He can still hear me, and he's, watching the chat, but his internet's giving him issues. So I do think that, there is a necessity for us to revisit and kind of go over again, what it is that we think is right and wrong, right? And I'm not talking about right and wrong in the sense of let's have total fucking anarchy and kill each other, and that's not what I'm talking about. Let's be responsible and logical about it, right? But within a philosophical sense, right? Well, the thing is there's a lot of these things explained in the Bible. Of course there is. The Bible is, this is not an attack, Mark, but, the Bible is, at the end of the day, a pagan ripoff. You go to church, that's a ritual, right? That's not mass, that's ritual. The only problem with Christianity, in my personal opinion, is the whole idea of I'm right, you're wrong. You're going to suffer for what you believe in. Feel guilty for being a human being. Feel guilty for wanting the things that you want. That is the big aspect that I have a problem with. I don't I don't care about, people, believing in what they believe in. It's just when you sit there and try to tell me that I'm wrong, you know, or anyone else is wrong because it's different. My invisible man's different from your invisible man. It's where we kind of run into like, this clashing concept. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, they're not. Like, honestly, angels are significantly more manipulative and parasitic than, infernal entities. And unfortunately, obviously, that's not going to be a popular idea. And I hate using the term angel because angel or demon, because that's, comes from, Abrahamic belief. But, that modern day, I suppose, modern day concept of it. But I mean, there's significantly more, exactly. I can disagree with you, but who am I to judge you? Exactly. Because I always thought that it was kind of funny with the Christian aspect of things, right? Because with the Christians, it's always like, it's love and light and acceptance and, forgiveness, and only God can judge you. But the moment that you, don't believe in God and you try to, have a debate with me about my spiritual beliefs, then, I'm going to judge you. Yeah, it's like Melinda, right? Melinda's like, I don't judge people, and then 2 seconds later, she's judging the shit out of whatever fuck she's talking about. It's the same thing. I mean, you could view it that way. I mean, Baphomet is essentially so the structure that I've realized functions, the underlining structure. So I don't want to get too much into this because this is the concept that's in the book, right? And this is, one of the things that, during the conversations with Baphomet kind of came to light is the black tree of life and death, right? And we have spent millennia creating lines of separation between these different pantheons that have existed throughout history. And all aspects of, what there is, what has been revealed in pieces throughout each one. Not anyone is 100% correct. Not anyone is 100% wrong. And which is why there's validity in believing in any one of the pantheons that you choose to follow. But the black tree of life and death, the concept and idea behind that, like the first one, I guess you could say would be kind of like the Norse tree of life, right? Or tree of the world. Which ironically, or maybe not so ironically, is the same concept of balance. If you look at the depiction of the tree by itself, or at least in modern day depiction of it, with the branches on the top and the roots at the bottom and how they're so evenly spread out, and then the unification in the middle of the trunk, is a solid representation of the balance that I'm talking about. You need the above, you need the below, but you need those to make sure that the center is as strong as it possibly can be, right? If you deny yourself one or the other at a complete level, because balance is different for everybody. It's not going to be an equal balance of up and down and like, dark and light, whatever. It's not going to be an even breakdown of that. But if you try to lean yourself fully to one direction or the other, you're denying yourself an instinctual aspect of your existence, right? And, what happens if you try to bend a tree? It's not meant to bend. It breaks. It falls down. Now, the branches towards the top are the idea of there isn't a straight shot up or a straight shot down, right? It has to move, right, to capture the light. It has to move to get those minerals and get the water and things like that. It has to spread out, right? The water doesn't pool in one spot. It lies all over the ground. The sun doesn't directly hit in one area. It's spread out all over the place. So there isn't one direction that just goes that way. It has to branch around. You have to move around. You have to be flexible. And you have to understand that balance of yourself needs to exist in both places simultaneously, right? And the only way that we can reach that point of acceptance inside of ourselves is to understand that our Judeo-Christian Abrahamic concepts of good and evil, light and dark, left and right, and up and down have been diluted to the point of just ridiculousness. It's just absolutely ridiculous, right? You know, so we have to first kind of change that philosophical understanding before we can move forward with the spiritual growth. Because so long as we're stuck, hold on a second, I'm going to turn off his video because the thing is, it is weird looking at myself like twice. Give me a second here. I'm just gonna turn off his video for a second. There we go. Switching over. Much better, much better. I mean, it's artistic having two versions of me, kind of, you know, but no, it's a little weird. So, yeah, so that is, you know, where I stand with that. And there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more in depth that I go into the book on that and why that's a thing. And in order to be able to fully work with, you know, Baphomet, like how to kind of try to break those down. So, who wears a band t-shirt and asked what? Yeah, exactly. No, that's 100% correct. Oh no, this weekend, guys, I got a couple of Melinda videos I'm gonna be doing this weekend, so that's gonna be a thing this weekend. So there's gonna be a couple of videos done there. Romans use the term pagan. I mean, well, the Romans were polytheistic before you know, the rise of Catholicism, right? You know, yeah, and I created a response to that. I did a response to that. There's a response video to that one. I mean, if anybody starts to talk about Baphomet the way that she did, I mean, obviously I'm going to respond to it in kind. But yeah, so originally, like, I mean, yeah, exactly, they were polytheists, you know, so that they weren't like, you know what they are now. I mean, technically Rome still isn't, you know, the Vatican is, and the Vatican's in Rome, but again, like we've discussed multiple times, I mean, the Vatican is just, you know, it's a whole other country inside of Rome, you know. I mean, and the proof is in the pudding. I mean, the Vatican, Catholicism was just a political party, you know. Religion was added to it later, you know, just to kind of reinforce it and kind of scare the shit out of people into following it. You know, it didn't start as a religion. That came later. You know, not by much, but it still came later. You know, at least by historical standards, it didn't happen much later. And so, you know, the proof, like I said, the proof's in the pudding. Like it's the only religion in the world that has its own government, its own political system. You know, all of that stuff, you know, and its own leader, you know, essentially a president, prime minister, right? The Pope. So, I think I know what you're talking about, Chris. I mean, it's been a while since I've read up on this stuff. It's been a while. Was it Constantine? No, it wasn't Constantine. Constantine was something else. Not 100% certain. But yeah, so the basic idea is that, like, you know, when it comes down to Baphometic practices, you know, it's understanding that this is why I always tell people, like, if you're the type of person that wants to do Keanu Reeves, what the fuck? If you're the type of person that wants to do ritual work for money, for success, for for business, for a car, for a house, for whatever, Baphomet is not the entity that you want to be working, right? So Baphomet's not the entity that you want to be kind of working with, like if those are the kind of like the desires or things that you want to fulfill, right? So when we discussed the tree concept last week, we talked about, the roots kind of being the starting point, right? And the older the aspect of the tree, the stronger it is, right? Because it needs to take root first, and then it turns into a sapling, and it can grow. When it's a sapling, it's very, it's very flexible. It can move around a lot, but it's still in its own way very fragile. It's easy to break, right? Until it begins to grow and become thicker and things like that, and taller and long, like all of these types of things. And the root system is the most important part of the tree's growth, because that dictates how much water it gets. That dictates how much it can withstand a storm, strong winds, things of that nature, and without a strong root system, then it would just, the first time a storm comes, it's either going to be flooded out or, blown away. And so the root system is extremely important. Baphomet is an aspect of that root system. Like, we like to look at like hierarchy from above going downward, and the lower that we go, the less important the things are. And, for, pictorial understanding, things are represented that way. So we have kind of like an immediate understanding, okay, this is important and this is less important. And that's how the brain works. But essentially, it works quite the opposite inside the spiritual realm, is that the root aspect, the things that came first, are significantly stronger, more powerful than the things that came later. And when we look at Baphomet, Baphomet is this entity that is the balance of, everything, that exists, that flows through everything. But Baphomet isn't the whole of the root system, but an aspect of the root system. So there's so many more entities that have not revealed themselves simply because of who we are as people, right? Like the entities that we are aware of when we go back and we look at the Goetian, we look at pagan deities, and we look at all these branches. That is a small fragment of what actually exists. There is so much more connected to this that we don't know about. We haven't stopped learning about these things, but because of where we are, we've stopped searching. We think we have all the names. We think we have all the entities. We think we have all of the aspects, throughout history that we can connect to, and we don't. And that's the biggest thing, because back when this was, starting to kind of like, we were really digging in, and this was kind of like a family affair, right? There was a generational thing, like where the parents stopped, the kids picked up, right? Because of how times were at the time. We're going leaps and bounds on the spiritual end of things. But now it's gotten to this point where, unfortunately, the way things are kind of constructed inside of spiritualism is we've become very lazy. We open a book, we read some names in a book, and we think that that's what exists. And that's fine. There's nothing saying that it doesn't, but we've stopped looking for more. And kind of like the idea is, when are we going to take a moment and say, okay, I want to know what else is out there? I want to know what more we have to learn. And start digging and looking for more spiritual connection, more demons, you know, more entities, more deities, more infernals, more, you know, whatever it is that you're looking for. Because I can tell you right now, the names that you've read in the books are not the only names that exist, or not the only entities that are out there. But these things have stopped trying to show themselves to us because we're not looking anymore. We're not looking anymore. We're like, oh, Belial. I can work with Belial. I can work with Lucifer. I can work with Lilith. I can work with King Paimon. I can work with, you know, Beelzebub. Okay, yeah, you can. But there's more there. Trust me, there is more there that haven't let themselves be known yet because we're not looking. So if we really want to expand that spiritual horizon, it's not about working with what you've read about, but looking for what it is that you can connect with that nobody knows about yet. And yeah, when you come up and one of those things open themselves up to you and you get a new name and a new sigil, you know what? A lot of people are going to think you're crazy. A lot of people are going to tell you just made it up. Well, guess what? You know how many people told, you know, the people that have found the demonic entities that we currently work with, you know, that found their names, found their sigils, found how to work with them. Probably how many people inside of their circle said, no, you're out of your goddamn mind. That thing that doesn't exist. You're making it up. Probably a lot. How you doing, Mystic? He just popped back in, but he's still muted. I mean, those are all cool things, you know, like, I mean, like, you know, a Japanese pantheon, all of this stuff. I mean, those are amazing things to connect to, and they're amazing starting points. But kind of like where I'm pushing to is to break out of the pantheonic idea, to break out of the pantheonic ideologue, and go beyond it. There you go. I mean, that's pretty much how it is. Mystic. I'm not getting anything. I'm starting to think that there's not going to be any resuscitation. I mean, it's par for the course. It kind of happens sometimes, you know, doing these live shows. So, yeah, I don't want to talk too much more about it because a lot of what I'm talking about is in the book, right? And if I talk about it publicly, then there's really no reason for you to buy the book, right? At least until like the book is out, then a few people buy the book, and then, or the people that get paid for the book get the book and all that fun stuff, and then we can kind of talk about it more in depth. But I don't want to like, you know, let everything out of the bag right now, right? Because, you know, there's a book coming out, and I'd like you guys to read it. I mean, I will tell you about the book that apparently Microsoft Word thinks my book is very difficult to understand. So apparently it has this thing built into Microsoft where you can check, like, you know, the difficulty, the reading level required to understand what it is that I'm writing, and I think it's Flesh and Kincaid, Flesh and Kincaid, right? I think it is like the level, right? And it's got 14.7 for a which basically means that it's like needs a very high like reading level to understand it. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But I mean that's what Microsoft Word tells me. So, fun times. I don't know if it's like I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I really don't. I don't know. If like I don't know if that's like Microsoft Word telling me, dude, this is just psychobabble, or like you're really smart. Like I don't know. So that's what it's saying. Hopefully, right? Well, so the left-hand path in and of itself is more of a philosophy than it is, you know, the spiritual aspect of it. So to be completely honest, like just be blatantly honest, you could be a full-fledged Christian and still be left-hand path. Like I know a lot of people are not going to, you know, like that, right? Sees as a treat, not a substance. I mean, well, yeah. I mean, you know, I mean, ice cream is a treat. So, left-hand path is more of a philosophy about accountability. It's more of an understanding that the darker sides of yourself are a requirement to fully expand your spiritual horizons and your personal horizons. It goes back to the thing that I say constantly. A peaceful person is not a peaceful person because they are believed to be incapable of causing harm, but rather a peaceful person is a peaceful person that has a full understanding of their capacity for cruelty and choose not to be cruel. That is what makes a peaceful person peaceful. And that is an oversimplification of the philosophy of the left-hand path. Right? Is I am not good or evil, I am. That's it. That's what that is. I'm not good or evil, I am. I am capable of great good. I am capable of great evil. My decisions and my actions are what dictate who or what I am. Now, if we're talking ice cream, gotta be Chunky Monkey. I'm sorry. Gotta be Chunky Monkey. Full stop. Well, I mean, left-hand path, like I said, Mark, it's a philosophy. You know, it's not a basis of your beliefs, your spiritual beliefs, rather than it is the philosophy of your own personal accountability. You know, and understanding that you as an individual are capable of great good and great evil at the same time, and understanding that your choices are what dictate whether you are a good person or not a good person. You're not a good person because you're a Christian. You can be a good person and be a Christian, but the simple fact of you being a Christian doesn't by default make you a good person. Just like the simple fact of somebody being a Satanist or a demonologist doesn't make them a bad person, but rather their choices and their decisions dictate and show where they land, and that they are they are responsible and accountable for those actions and the people that they harm in on the way, or the people that they help on the way, right? You know, so yeah, just try milk and cookies. No, Chunky Monkey. And if y'all don't know Chunky Monkey, y'all need to get some Chunky Monkey. It's also really fun to say. Chunky Monkey. See, that's something that I would never do. I would never kind of work both of the, I mean, maybe like not at the same time, right? Like if they work it at the exact same time, I think that's a little out there, like Jesus and Lucifer at the same time. But like, yeah, you're letting the cat out of the bag, right? I mean, I don't think you could get much of a result off of that. But I mean, you could essentially do that, right? But again, it doesn't fall on what you work with. I mean, you could work with, you know, Belial 100%. You know, and, you know, have the left-hand path idea, you know, that philosophy that I laid out. And that's what makes you left-hand path. But you could also work with Belial and be, you know, completely, you know, off of it. You know, you could worship only God and Jesus and the saints and still be left-hand path. As long as you understand that your belief in God and Jesus and the saints isn't what makes you a good person, but your actions and your decisions are the things that make you a good or a bad person. And you truly follow what it is that you're trying to preach to people, right? You know, that is what makes somebody left-hand path. And you know, I know that breaks kind of like this illusionary mold that a lot of people have about, you know, the left-hand path being only about demons and being only about, you know, all of this stuff. But it simply isn't. Like the left-hand path is a philosophy. So like when people say I'm a practitioner of the left-hand path, you're simply saying that you are a practitioner of a philosophy, because the left-hand path incorporates a lot of different spiritual beliefs or non-spiritual beliefs. Because left-hand path, for example, atheistic Satanism falls into this concept of being left-hand path, right? Because it's a philosophical path that the spiritual aspect of it is something completely different altogether. So yes, you're a Satanist and you can be left-hand path, or you can be, you know, a full-fledged Christian and still be left. So obviously nobody in the Christian world would ever say that they are left-hand path, but that's perfectly fine. Right? I believe that every single so not 100%. So my understanding through my spiritual work and what I've learned from Baphomet. This is why the book is so important to get out and get the wording right, which is why I'm kind of going over everything again, right? Because everything I go over in the book is everything that I've learned that's been presented to me, right? Not just by Baphomet, primarily by Baphomet, but not just Baphomet, but also Lucifer and Lilith. Those three specifically. So Lucifer gets touched on, Lilith gets touched on. Those are going to be separate books because there's a whole other world of shit to go through on that, especially like kind of like, you know, I want to say kind of like the spiritual like possession that Lucifer kind of, I suppose you could say in a way, non-evasively possessed me about a year or two ago. And that's when like I just had like these tears of blood that were coming out of my eyes that I couldn't explain for 3 days when I started working with Lucifer. And I've said this 1,000 times. Not a single doctor that I spoke to could explain why there was actual blood coming out of my eyes, because there were no ruptured blood vessels. There was no damage to my eye. There was nothing that could explain why it was coming out of my eye. And even there's a condition that where people cry and blood mixes in with the tears, and when they cry, they're red tears. These weren't tears. It was straight fucking blood coming out of my eye. So, not a single doctor was able to explain it. And I talked to several. I talked to 2 online doctors and went to 2 different eye doctors, and nobody could tell me what the fuck was going on. I got no concrete explanations. It lasted 3 days, and then nothing. Like, never happened again. No pain. It didn't hurt. There was no pain. There was no trauma. Nothing. Most religions, so here's the thing. So most religions, most spiritual paths are based off of astrology. Not a problem, Slim. Most spiritual paths are based on astrology. You break down the archetypes, and they are astrological in origin. Okay? However, that is not to say that the spiritual archetypes that we are looking at are not actual entities. Finally coming back. I think Mystic's coming back, everybody. His video's loading.
I don't know if the video is going to work, but my internet is back to its normal activity. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay.
Oh, what? Video's coming in? All right, let me turn the video back.
That's definitely better. Okay.
Yeah, it looks a lot clearer. Hold on a second, guys. We're going to get Mystic back in here.
What a nightmare.
You're just really lucky I like to hear myself talk.
Right? Dude, everything just is off today. Ugh.
All right, so guys, instead of having the tarot reading at the beginning of the show like we normally do, we're going to have it here at the end of the show.
Oh no, y'all have to repeat everything because I didn't hear it.
You're going to have to go back and watch. I can't read shit.
Alright, maybe I'll hop in Discord tonight like I don't normally do. Just say hi. I don't know.
There you go. That would work.
I feel like I missed the whole freaking show. Anyway.
You kind of did. We've already been on for an hour.
I'm sending a bill to Xfinity.
We started 5 minutes early, so.
Jesus Christ. Okay, well, let me
so,
know when you're ready.
Yeah. So, guys, we are going to move this on over to Mystic to close us out with our weekly tarot read. Mystic, take it away.
Oh, that sucks. I have a bunch of new tarot decks to use. So today we're using the Haunted Manor. Haunted Manor Oracle by Syrian Shadow.
Quick thing. I think your Discord is using a mic that isn't your normal mic because it sounds like absolute shit. Like, you are clipping horribly.
Uno momento, por favor. Alright, that should be better.
Oh, that is much better. So much better.
Yes. So it every time my computer restarts or Logitech restarts, it resets my Yeti at full like plus 100 gain.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's why you're clipping like a motherfucker.
So yeah. Uno momento, por favor. All right. The Haunted Manor. So I have a bunch of new decks. This is one of the Oracle decks that I got from a Kickstarter. It is
like the look.
Really pretty. Yeah. It's I think this is one that you would probably enjoy. It does have kind of like a mix of Dark Mirror and Fairy Oracle vibes.
Ooh, nice.
Red foil, which I love me some foil.
I still don't have a deck that's like that. Oh, that is amazing. I love the look of
Red
that.
foil back, yeah.
That's
Very,
expensive to
very
do, by the
pretty.
way.
Yeah. And it's a matte finish, which I am obsessive with. So this is one card, the moon.
The borders are nice. I like how it doesn't cut off the card.
Yeah. And that is my thing. Everybody knows I hate borders, but this one I love because the border, the image extends through the border. It connects. Thirst, you want these cards.
I'm just seeing one card so far, and I want them. But you're saying that it's a Kickstarter deck, right?
It is a Kickstarter deck, but it is going to retail. Syrian Shadows always go to um uh retail, and I think they usually show up on tarotmerchant.com.
Okay.
Um but yeah, these cards I love them. They're just very, very well done. Like it's just I love them. So we're gonna pick a couple of cards to see how the next week of stuff is going to be swirling. Is it going to be a turd sandwich or a douche? A giant douche. One of my favorite episodes and topics.
Douches?
Giant douche or turd sandwich? South Park.
That's a conversation I don't want to have.
It was supposed to be, I don't, was it Trump and Hillary making fun of how do you pick between a giant turd or a turd and a giant douche?
Yeah, yeah.
Turd sandwich, that's what it was. Sorry. Took me a minute. Haunted Mansion is gorgeous. I love that one too. I do have Haunted Mansion. I'm so excited that I'm back. All right, so the
We're
first
happy you're
one
back.
is Hearth. So Hearth, the first thing I think of when I see Hearth is home. It is the center of the home where the heat comes from, where people gather when there's nothing else. And if you didn't have electricity and it's the dead of winter, where do you gather? You gather at the hearth. That is a big part of witchery, right? The Hearth card talks about valuing your worth. So spending some time this weekend, especially and into next week, looking at yourself and spending time with yourself and recognizing the value of yourself and what you have at your hearth, right? What is it that you bring and have at the hearth of your home, whether it's a house you own or an apartment or a tent or a bus? We all have a hearth, and what do you put at that hearth? What is important to be there? Well, this one's pretty. Second card is Dragonfly. So Dragonfly at the bottom says trust yourself, and we know dragonflies are symbols of lots of things. They're symbols of visits from the departed. They are. I think everybody loves dragonflies, but it's a very, very good. Let me get this in the right place.
That definitely has Fairy Oracle vibes on it, that card.
Yeah, very big portent for moving forward into something, right? Remembering, but also going forward. Dragonflies have very small lifespans. They grow fast, and they have to do what they have to do, and then they die. So it's recognizing and valuing and being grateful for what you are, and trusting in yourself to kind of have the path. So again, this week is about our hearth, and
Don't
it's
they stay
about
alive for
ourselves.
just like 8 days or something?
Something like that. I know it's a very interesting piece. These are all cards about introversion, valuing your worth, trusting yourself, and checking in with yourself. So the next one is Fountain.
Oh, I like that one.
And so in this card, it's talking about again checking in with yourself. We've talked about this ad nauseum almost on every different show. We talk about whether it's the Sunday Mass, whether it's the Sunday service, whether it's the Apocrypha. We talk about how important it is to self-evaluate, self-love, self-care. And we're not talking about the chintzy, cheesy self-love. We're talking about truly looking at yourself and making sure that you have the capabilities to recognize things that you do well, along with just the things that you don't. Oh, look at that black cat. Cute one. So this is a very introspective energy I'm getting this week, right? A very I don't want to say live free, but open space, de-stress. Don't be too hyper focused on things that are around you. Let yourself have some time to process things, to have a moment of no talking, of no sound, of no discussion, just of existence. I know that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. We're getting up super early in the morning to go on our ride. I'm very excited. Rook probably doesn't want to do it anymore, but
3 o'clock in the morning.
yeah. But
So introspection.
introspection, know yourself, treat yourself, and what is on your hearth. Trust yourself, not treat yourself.
No,
Trust
treat yourself too.
and treat yourself.
Just sounds chunky
But-
monkey.
I think that, yeah, I almost got my milkshake tonight from Five Guys. It's really good. You know me, I like my milkshakes from Five Guys.
I'm sure you
Let's
do.
just say. Yes.
Oh.
The sugar high is a bit much on the back end. No, never mind. We'll stop there.
At the back end.
But yeah, I'm definitely getting the energy of the hearth thing is sticking out the most. When you're at your moment, when you're by yourself in your space, do you feel at home? You know, is your hearth giving off the heat that you need it to? And if not, you need to kind of change that and work on that and make it so that it is. That's a big thing we're doing in our house right now, is moving things around just enough to get it where we want it. I have so much to say now that it's over.
Well, I mean, you know, sometimes it happens, but I'm just glad we're still able to get the tarot reading there. I really wish you were there for the discussion to give, you know, your opinions and your ideas. You know, because I mean, we kind of went really deep down the Baphomet path. You know, kind of went into a little bit of what the book is going on. You know, what I've written in the books, and you know, without giving it away. But
I don't have a lot to say on Baphomet, so that's a good topic for me not to necessarily be involved in. But it does bring me into the thought of a next discussion of other entities and other pantheons that may have something to offer similar to what Baphomet recognizes for others, like Set.
mm-hmm. Definitely. No, trust me, I know, and I'm working very diligently, Tresap, very diligently to get it done. I just want to make sure that it's a lot of information that needs to be presented correctly.
The deck better not have boundaries on the outside.
It does not.
Just thank God.
There are no borders on the cards.
Borders, that's what I meant, not boundaries. Oh, that was a slip.
So, yeah, I'm definitely, like, I'm working double time on it. Like, I want to get it out there, but I also want to make sure that the message is clear and that people can understand it. But it seems like apparently the more clear I try to make it, the more difficult apparently Microsoft says it is to read. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But it's coming. It's coming. And you know, for those that, you know, pre-ordered it, you will get it. So anyway, that is going to be it for today, everybody. Thank you very much. I sadly am not going to be able to join Mystic in the Discord, but Mystic said he's going to be jumping in the Discord. Go hang out with the man.
Just for a very short few minutes.
You know, go hang out with, you know, Mystic. Make sure you catch his show next week. Not this week. He did it last week. He's not doing it this week. Next Sunday, he's going to be doing his thing. This Sunday and every Sunday, I'm doing my thing, 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. All right. You know, the Black Mass, the Sunday Black Mass. Right. Yeah, thank you guys. Also, again, I'm going to reiterate the point really quick. Go to the community section of the Discord. The rules for the giveaway are there. You know, you have to type Hail Thyself to confirm that you've read everything, everywhere you need to be following in the community section in order to be able to be entered to get one of those shirts. We're giving away 2 shirts to 2 different people. Okay? And that giveaway is going to happen. We're going to announce the winners for that on the 20th, I think it is. So on the 23rd. On the 23rd. But that's going to be when we're going to be live again for Apocrypha. So we're going to be doing that giveaway on the 23rd. So I said the 20th on the post, but it should be the 23rd because that's the Friday that we're going to be live. So we're going to announce the winners there. All right? So if you want a shirt, want to be entered in to win one of the 2 shirts, do the thing. All right? Thank you all for fucking being here. We love your fucking faces. And as always, hail thy fucking self. We'll see you in the next one. Peace. Peace the fuck out.
Deuces.